Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. I'm Jay Zawaski with Greg Boysen and Mario Tirabassi. It is a Sunnyside Summer Friday. We're going to tell you all about Sunnyside later in the show. We've got a bunch to get to today. Probably most importantly is tomorrow is National Chicken Wing Day. We're going to tell you about our favorite wing places and wing sauces. We've got some news from around the league, including Vladimir Tarasenko's new home, some news about Logan Cooley, who is joining the Arizona Coyotes officially. But we're going to start, well, I guess with a little bit of heartbreak. Yesterday, we met Jaromir Jagr and had a lot of people chiming in saying, boy, I hope you gave it to him for those 91 Cup finals. We didn't. But we're going to talk about players that broke your heart as a Hawks fan over the years. Before we do, want to remind everybody to smash that like button on YouTube. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page as well. Podcast listeners, follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And it is our last chance to let you know about the CHGOLocker.com summer sale, up to 50% off mostly everything in the store. I know our legendary 81 design is on sale, as well as our CHGO hockey design. Those are both 50% off. There's a brand new Cubs design out there. Go check it out, CHGOLocker.com. Again, up to 50% off everything in our store now through Sunday. So if you've been waiting to get on that, you've been waiting for payday, which could have been today for a lot of folks, now's your chance. Make sure you get that done before Friday. Again, CHGOLocker.com, up to 50% off everything. And, of course, if you're a diehard, you continue to save on that sale as well.
Now, you guys might know this because you're bigger Cubs fans than I am. The new Cubs shirt says Sweet Emotion, and MO is a different color than the rest of the word in emotion. What is that about?
It's about Christopher Morel.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I'm glad you knew that because I had no idea.
Does he have any ties with Aerosmith or?
Well, so I know that Kyle Hendricks comes out to Sweet Emotion, but I think the Mo for Morel, because that's those MO is highlighted, and the bear has like the 2 stripes under his eyes, and which Morel is Morel eye black. He wears like the 2 stripes.
Okay, I get it now. All right, that's cool. I like that. I like that creativity.
Right. I like that one a lot. It's very, very cool. Did I say 91? I think I might have said 91. I meant 92. Sorry, everybody.
I do like that Kyle Hendricks comes out to Sweet Emotions, and he's the most emotionless person on the planet.
Yeah,
he really is.
Yeah, there it is on the screen. I like that.
It's a cool design. I like that a lot. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's a good one. Now that I know what it means, I might get it.
There you go.
Yeah, we're helping the people.
We can't be too honest. Like our number 98 design, the 98C design, you'll never know who that's about. No. How could you possibly figure that out on your own? Or the future of the game? No one knows that. Could be anyone.
Inside knowledge.
Exactly. And Rob B says, got some shirts coming. Rob, thanks for doing that. We appreciate it. All right. So yesterday we're at the National Sports Collectors Convention, and we're kind of standing there, and Greg notices there's Jaromir Jagr. And I think the 3 of us immediately stood up and ran over there to talk to him because nobody else was. Johnny Manziel had a line 500 people deep, but Jaromir Jagr just standing there on his phone and no one's talking to him. So we did and tweeted out the photo, and boy, did we get some responses from Hawks fans. You know, I hope you kicked him in the shins for the Cup. I know Kevin Kaduck told him that he broke his heart, as a young kid. Yeah, Kevin tweeted, just met Jaromir Jagr. Hey, man, you broke my heart when I was 14. Why? What happened? You swept the Blackhawks in the final. Oh, well, it worked out okay for you. You're right, it did. So there you go.
Yeah, I love how he's like, why? What did I do?
Yeah. What did I do to you? I'm sorry.
I was only a teenager. Leave me alone.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. Scott Kennedy on Twitter said, dude, I hope someone at least kicked him in the shin for 92. And then our Linderman said, did you ask him about his game-tying goal in game 1 of the 92 Cup final? One of the darkest moments of my life.
Jeez.
All right, so
that's rough.
If that's one of the darkest moments of your life, though, a game 1 game-winning goal, you've had a pretty good run. I got to say, you've had a pretty good and fortunate life, so count your blessings.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not kicking Jaromir Jagr anywhere. The dude might be in his 50s, but he is still he's probably in better shape now than he was in that 92 Cup final. I mean, the dude is just ripped. And
he's still playing.
Yeah, he's a big dude. Hey, but we got revenge. Remember, he was on the 2013 Boston Bruins, so we got our revenge there.
It's true.
And one of those two Patrice Bergeron Stanley Cup final losses that he has on his record. My favorite Jaromir Jagr story, I was 13 in 92, and that broke my heart, and I hated him for a long time, but grew to respect him as I got older, and just everything he was able to accomplish in the world of hockey. And I think the respect hit a peak level was the first time I ever had credentials was for the Stanley Cup final in 2013. And game one was that triple overtime, shin pads game that the Blackhawks won. And I'm going down to the locker room for post game afterwards, just following the media mass to the where they're going to do the press conferences. And there, literally 3-4 minutes after a triple overtime game, is Jaromir Jagr, who is 40-ish, 41 at this time, in the hallway riding a stationary bike. And I'm just like, this guy is not human. And it's like where I was like, my respect level for him hit an all-time high. It's crazy.
Hey, you're playing till you're in your 50s, even if it's not the NHL. I mean, you're still competing at a high level in the Czech league. Like, that fitness has to be a thing. And I think it's funny, like, I don't know, for as long as he's played, he's still playing. Go look at his Hockey DB page. It looks like 3 players combined. I don't know if he ever got enough credit for the athlete he was. And, because he was kind of the way we talk about Patrick Kane, where he was kind of a methodical puck carrier, would stick handle around you, but wasn't never really like a speed burning guy. Early in his career, he was more, but he kind of became like a possession guy, like for the second, probably 2/3 of his career. Mm-hmm. So I don't think he ever really got the respect he deserved. And I also think we don't talk enough about Jaromir Jagr as one of the all-time greats of the game. And I think part of that is being in Lemieux's shadow, of course, and the fact that he left for the KHL in the middle of his career and took away, he'd certainly have 2,000 NHL points if he had not left for Russia. Yeah. He's the only guy aside from Gretzky with those numbers. I think that, I don't know, I don't want to say he's forgotten, but I think yesterday was evidence where you got a room full of sports memorabilia collectors, and there's Jaromir Jagr, and no one moved. It's a bit strange.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like most of the memories of him are from, his time with the Penguins in the 90s, and then a lot of it is just like, oh yeah, and he was still playing into his late 30s and 40s in the NHL, but that middle gap, jeez, I smiked my microphone, that middle gap of his career, like you said, where the part in which he went to the KHL, like in his prime, I feel like that those like Rangers years and the Capitals years get kind of lost in the lore of his career. And look, like he's one of the, even during that time, he was still one of the top 5 best players in the league. But yeah, I think it's just, he just kind of gets kind of pushed to the side sometimes because, like you said, like in the 90s, it was Lemieux first and then Jagr with those Penguins teams. And then, the career was bouncing around, you play Florida, Bruins,
Flames.
Flames. Yeah, he was with the Flames. Who remembers Panthers. Him with the Flames? Panther. Yeah. So, I mean, he bounced around a lot. And, even still into his mid 40s was putting up, 50, 60 point seasons. But yeah, it's just, it does feel like for a guy who essentially, if you put all his professional numbers together, would be right up there with Gretzky, like just a couple points behind anyways. It feels like, yeah, like there's not that, whenever you talk about like top 5 players all time, he's usually not on those lists.
Yeah. And I think some of that has to do with the fact that he's been away from the NHL for 5 years, 6 years now, but still playing. That's why he's not in the Hockey Hall of Fame yet. Because, I mean, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer whenever the hell he stops playing. But I think if he's not still playing now in Czechia, he's in the Hockey Hall of Fame. And then you have that love fest that comes with the induction. And Yeah, I'm kind of surprised, I know he played for a bunch of teams, but I'm kind of surprised like Pittsburgh hasn't retired his number 68. I mean, he was part of 2 cup teams and put up ridiculous numbers there. And, it's a number who else is really going to wear?
So
Yeah, nobody.
wasn't somebody wearing 68 in Pittsburgh? Or no?
Oh, there's no way.
No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of people. Almost no one wears 66 out of respect to Lemieux, even though that's not retired league wide like 99.
When Joshua Hosang wore it for the Islanders, people were pitching a fit, and I was like, "You're get over it." Like,
yeah. But yeah, I mean, maybe that's a thing that they're waiting on him to retire to do it officially too.
All right, before we get to the heartbreaking stories and the heartbreaking memories, not just from Jagr, but from all of our listeners, if you got one, throw it in the chat and we'll get to it on the show. Anyone have a favorite Jagr memory?
I think I shared mine on the stationary bike. That was pretty awesome to see.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
He's definitely got some legendary moments on social media.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Put it that way.
That's my favorite moment, is when the girl tried to blackmail him when he was like, "Here I am."
Yeah.
That just happened.
Yeah. I'm 48. I don't have kids. I'm not married. You're 20 and gorgeous. Oh no, don't ruin my reputation.
No, please.
Right, yeah. I think not just kind of like off the ice, kind of just a fun moment that I always remember is when HBO did the Road to the Winter Classic series, and it was the Flyers and another team that he played for, Flyers and the Rangers. He was the one that started people like realizing that Ilya Bryzgalov is like very afraid of bears, because there was a point in I think it was like a post-game media scrum or something, and I forget the question, but like it was something along the lines of like what, like, they're talking to Bryzgalov and it's like, what gets you off your game, or you always seem like a very like even killed, chill guy, and Jagr's like in the background and he goes, "Bears," and then Bryzgalov goes off and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm afraid of bears," like stuff like that. So I don't know, that's just one of those things that, like, I don't know, for me is just one of those like funny little moments that you just sometimes could just skim over, but like remembering that it was Jagr that did that is like, I don't know, to me that's really funny.
Yeah, it's cool. He gets like this enigmatic, I don't know. He just has such an iconic look, with or without the mullet, right? Like that's unmistakably Jaromir Jagr. And when we talked to him, he was, I wouldn't say standoffish at first, but was kind of like, "What is this? Like, what's going on?" He's like, "Oh yeah." And then we took the picture with him, and he started asking about Rocky Wirtz.
Yeah,
like, "Oh yeah, I heard the owner died," and like he just kind of got like conversational. I know, it's cool. It's like that's the first time I've been starstruck in a long time, was seeing that guy. Like, holy cow! Like, because I know Casey tried to get him on the show, and I was like, I'm kind of glad you didn't, because I don't know what I would even say. Like, how do you even begin to talk to a guy with that much of a resume? Like, where do you even start?
And we're meeting him 15 minutes before we go on the show. So it's like, if he had been like, sure. What do we do? We go from like being like, "Oh, we'll talk about Seth Jones's, bad contract, brouhaha, whatever," to being like, "Oh, here's Jaromir Jagr sitting next to you." Like, that would have been quite the flip of the script there.
I would have asked him what he thought of the traveling Jagrs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Those guys are great.
Impressive.
It's impressive to have A, that many friends, and B, to be able to to travel around and see him play, and playing all the roles that he had for all the teams. It's pretty impressive.
They're like the hockey version of Marlins Man, but 1,000 times less annoying.
Yes.
Yeah. And ones you actually like want to see in your stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There you go. I got some heartbreak moments in the chat here. Tom Quinn says Ken Dryden 71 absolutely stoned the Hawks and won another cup for Montreal. I was not born yet, but I have heard from longtime Hawks fans that's a big one. Zach Osborne and Eric also both mentioned a 2014 LA Kings, Alec Martinez scoring at 5:47 of overtime, and the Kings beat the Hawks 5-4 in Game 7. Worst sports day of my life, says Zach. And Eric says the 2014 Kings, because the West Cup final was really the Cup. The West Conference final was really for the Cup. Whoever came out of the West had the Cup one. I agree with that.
Yeah, that goal prevented a three-peat for the Blackhawks. I think they would have beat the Rangers that year. I don't doubt that.
I always wonder, though, because of how banged up that 2014 team was by that time, I always wonder what the Cup final, had they won that Game 7, would have looked like against the Rangers. And then if you go back to back, how does that change your off season? Because I don't know. I always wonder if they had won that conference final and then won the 14 Cup, do they have enough in the gas to get through the 14-15 season and do it again for 3? You'd like to think so, but I don't know. It's always interesting.
It only would have been 4 more 10-0 victories over those bum ass New York Rangers. So I mean, they wouldn't even broke a sweat. It would have been no big deal.
Yeah, Duncan Keith would only play 30 minutes tonight instead of 40.
Yeah, exactly. It's true.
Corey in the chat too says the 2014 Western Conference Final. Mr. Duds 1984 says, where do you start? The 71 Canadians, 91 North Stars, 92 Penguins, 2011 Canucks. Yeah, that one sucked. 2014 Kings, 2017 Predators. Yeah, you can keep going.
Yeah, that 91 North Stars was probably my first real heartbreak as a Hawks fan. I was 12 at the time, and those 80s teams, I was follow those along. My parents are big hockey fans, but I never really got that invested. And plus I always knew it doesn't matter. They're just going to eventually they're going to face Wayne Gretzky and all those Oilers guys and get their ass kicked, and it doesn't matter. But that 91 team, they won the President's Trophy, and it was okay, this might be the year that and Gretzky was gone out of Edmonton at that point. So it was okay, this could be it. You don't have to. And then here come the Minnesota North Stars, and there's 2 guys on that team that I particularly remember and haven't said a nice word about since. And it was Neil Broughton and Brian Bellows were 2 guys in that series that every time the North Stars needed a goal, it was one of those 2 guys. They alternated games on which guy was going to kill the Blackhawks in that series. It was every time the Blackhawks, it was just every time the Blackhawks went up a goal, here comes Neil Broughton to tie the game 3 minutes later, or it's Brian Bellows on a shorthanded goal. It just, those 2 guys. And then they ended up doing the same thing the Hawks did the next season and lost to the Penguins and Jaromir Jagr in the Stanley Cup final.
Well, just like Bellows and Broughton haunt us, hopefully Brian Bickle and Dave Bolin haunt Jaromir Jagr's dreams to this day. That'd be nice to think about. For me, the 96 conference semifinals against Colorado, who actually went on to win the Cup. I was at Game 4. Hawks were actually winning the series 2-1 at that point. Lost in triple overtime. Joe Sakic put one between Eddie Belfour's legs. And that was just a phenomenal game. That's also the game where Roenick was pulled down on the breakaway that led to the whole, the Stanley Cup rings in my ears from Patrick Waugh. Eddie Belfour stopped 54 of 57 Avalanche shots that day. Jeez. I mean, he was just on fire, and he was awesome and came up on the losing end because Colorado had too much firepower. Then Colorado goes on to win 3 games in a row. So they win Game 4, Game 5, Game 6. Hawks are eliminated. They lose Game 6 in double overtime at home. Sandis Ozolinsh gets that goal, and that's where Jeremy Roenick starts skating around the ice, waving goodbye to Hawks fans because there was a chance he wouldn't be back, and he would not be back. That was the summer he was traded. So the series loss, which felt like we said, whichever team won that series was going to win the Cup. And then Roenick leaving all balled into one series with 2 crushing long overtime losses and just hellacious, awesome playoff series. And that was kind of the end of that era of the great Blackhawks teams of the 90s.
They weren't serious. I think they only made the playoffs once or twice between then and 2009. And that was the end of anything for a long time. Yeah. Because Roenick got traded. Then, they had the Chelios and Belfour and all those guys were gone. And they were never a serious playoff contender again until 2009 when they made the Western Conference Final. Even that year you were kind of like, oh, this is a magical run. And you knew that, it's probably not going to end the way we want to, but hey, this is fun. But at least it was a lot of playoff hockey in 1 year.
Yeah.
So you're talking, what, 13 years? I think they had one playoff appearance in those 13 years in between.
2002.
Yeah, they made the
2002.
Then in 2002, they lost in 5 games to the Blues in a series that they could not score for the life of them. I think the game they won in that series, I think they won it 1-0. It was like I don't have it right in front of me, but I believe the one game the Hawks won in that series was a 1-0 victory or 2-1 or something, and they just could not score for the life of them. And then they didn't make it again until I'm going through right now.
2009.
That was it. And then they went to the conference quarterfinals or conference final where they lost to Detroit. And then we know what happened after that. So, Lebowski 5 says the 0-2 Blues were his heartbreak team. Steven says 73 Canadians, 92 Penguins, both killed my summers. Narf says he's going to throw Alex Burrows for the heartbreak segment. Also didn't help that he was a douche. That's true.
Yeah.
Never helps when you're a douche.
That 2011 loss to the Canucks, I feel like was really tough because of the comeback to get to that point.
Yeah.
But that was one of those series where the Blackhawks were coming off the Stanley Cup and they were a completely different team than they were in 2010. Squeaked into the playoffs. And then they were down 3-1 to the Canucks, forced to Game 7. That one was really hard to swallow, but also that kind of felt similar to that 2009 conference final loss to the Red Wings, where it was we probably shouldn't even be in this position anyways. But yeah, that one I remember the goal going in, and I'm watching it with my buddy up in college, and just collapsing to the floor and just being son of a bitch. Yeah,
and it was the way it ended too, because didn't Jonathan Taves score very late in third period to force overtime?
Like 2 minutes left in the game,
where you're like, oh, this is it. They're on this run again. Here comes this team of destiny again. Jonathan Taves did it, and then Chris Campoli just throws a freaking hand grenade out there and blows it all up. Yeah, had it been good goal, a nice play, a gritty rebound or an off a skate kind of thing, you can take that a little better. But just the way Chris Campoli might as well have just turned around and shot it in his own net. It was ultimate heel turn. A guy that had no business playing in an NHL playoff game in overtime in the first place, and he showed you why. And then just the way they acted, they had just won the Stanley Cup. We slayed the dragon. No, you ended up burning down your own town because you lost in Game 7. You bunch of hacks.
That was painful. And I was at that Game 6, which was so fun and so stressful. That was where they started Corey Schneider. And then Frolik had a penalty shot and Deke Schneider so bad that Schneider popped his groin. So then Luongo had to go in. And remember, Luongo was not on the Canucks bench. They had kept the locker room because he was getting heckled so bad. And then he comes in, the United Center's up for grabs. Ben Smith wins the game. And then, like you said, Game 7, Taves scores late, and you're like, here we go. They're the Vancouver Maple Leafs are at it again. And and then Chris Campoli happened. It's not all his fault. And it was kind of a bad hop, but still, oh my God. Yeah, that's a tough one. Lebowski with the super chat on the 0-2 Blues said the Hawks have been awful for half decade, and they had a surprisingly good season with the ABC line and Steve Sullivan. They got waxed in the first round. Yeah, they did. That was
was that a Blues team with did they have Pronger?
Yeah, I think they still had Pronger and McGinnis and Joel Quenneville was the coach. I'm pretty sure at that point. I don't think Brett Hull was still there at that point.
No, he's
long gone. Yeah, he's
on the Red Wings. He was on that 0-2 Red Wings team with 12 Hall of Famers.
So here's I just found the series recap. So Game 1, the Hawks win 2-1 in St. Louis. Game 2, they lose 2-0. Game 3, they lose 4-0. Game 4, they lose 1-0. Okay. Game 5, they lose 5-3. They scored 5 goals total in a 5
games,
including 3 consecutive shutouts.
I forgot about that. 3 consecutive shutouts.
Yeah, that's not going to get the job done.
Guess who the goalie was for the St. Louis Blues? Brent Johnson.
Legendary Brent Johnson.
Started goaltender.
Yeah, of course.
Brutal.
Yeah. Well, as far as like players that have broken my heart, I know we're talking about like heartbreaks the way seasons goes, but as far as like actual players, there's one guy that did it to us a couple of times that we loved in 2010, and Troy Brouwer broke our hearts a few times. He had that series winning goal in overtime in the Blues. That Blues series was at 2015. 2016. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 15 was the cup year. 2016, I had the overtime season-ending goal against the Hawks, and then he also had when he was with the Capitals, he had that late goal that beat them in the Winter Classic.
Scored with 6 seconds left.
Yeah, so he stuck it to his former team a couple of times along the way.
Yeah. Those overtime losses, man, are just so painful. And
they just happen so quickly. You've got all this emotion and energy, and then all of a sudden, like that, it's over, and you can't respond. You just like
very rarely like a satisfying overtime goal scored. Like I think of the Yzerman one where he like roofed it over Grant Fuhr, and they had like that perfect camera angle. You know, when Yzerman starts going crazy, like that's like the one overtime satisfying goal I can think of. Even the cup was like kind of like, what did it go in? What was that? Like,
there was the heartbreaker goal, you know, Kane and Taves in 2014. Was that 14?
13. That was the 13 conference final.
Yeah, that was a pretty good goal. That was overtime, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. So you know,
I'd say a good overtime goal that I think of is the 2014 Cup final with Alec Martinez scoring the winner. Like, as much as it sucks because it was the team and the guy that eliminated the Blackhawks that same year, just the sequence of that goal and the call and the reaction, like as far as non-Blackhawks like OT winner moments, like that one's pretty electric.
Yeah, and one of the most famous goals ever scored was in overtime of a Stanley Cup final game. The goal by Bobby Orr. That was a pretty good one.
Where he goes flying.
Yeah, but that's the thing about those overtime playoff goals is just because a lot of times it's a wacky bounce, it's a skate, it's a deflection, and they usually come out of nowhere, and you're just like, oh crap, that's over. And we can't do anything about it. Like, especially when they end your season, they're just such a kick in the nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's as fans. Imagine, you know, the guys on the ice, what they feel after that. And that's why I love playoff hockey when I'm not a fan of either team involved, because it's like let's get the most devastating way to end this game. Let's figure it out and do it.
Yeah. All right, going to get a couple more comments before we move on. Michael says 1971, I was at Game 7, Hawks Canadiens. Hawks were up 2-0 in the second period, and Bobby Hull blasted one off the crossbar. Then Henry Richard scored 2 goals and took the cup on our home ice. Ed Morris says May 18th, 1971, Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final at Chicago Stadium. Hawks blow a 2-0 lead, lose 3-2. It was the final game of Jean Beliveau's career. So that's 71, man. I'm glad I wasn't alive for that. That
sounds rough.
My parents told me a story about that game. They actually had season tickets at that point, but they had to give all those tickets away because my dad was in basic training for the Army. He was stationed in Fort Lee, Virginia. And he told me a story because back then, 1971, there's no ESPN, there's no TNT, there's no TV of this game, especially in Virginia. So my dad would find that if the wind was blowing a certain way, he would drive through town really slow and until he could pick it up on AM radio, and then he would just pull over and park. So like my parents were in their car driving through the base, and then if they can faintly hear it on the radio, he immediately pulled over and turned it up, and they would just sit there and listen to it in the car. And he said, remember listening to that game going, God, I'm so happy we're here and not there, because it would be too much to see.
Sure.
So cool. That's something that I think, like, even I think back when I was a kid, when Hawks games were on TV, you know, I would sneak my little like Walkman under my pillow and listen to Hawks games all night. I remember there was this long playoff game against Calgary that went to like triple overtime, and I was up way too late, and I would have gotten in huge trouble if my parents knew I was up that late. That's kind of a lost thing, right? Like what you're just explaining. Like nowadays, your dad can just like go to the NHL app and find it.
Right.
Watch it on his phone or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was my dad
finding the signal.
That was my dad too. Growing up, I always knew when the Hawks had a road game because he'd put it on the radio and he'd put it on our big living room stereo, so the whole house heard it. And like, I didn't have to sneak a Walkman in my bedroom. I could lay in my room and hear it perfectly as he would be listening to all those, even the regular season road games. Every single one he had on the radio, and everybody in the house could hear it.
That's awesome.
Well, even for me, in 2014, I was living in Milwaukee, living and working in Milwaukee, and as a working 2 part-time jobs straight out of college, didn't have a cable TV package or anything like that. Didn't even have, this was before streaming services had all the sports and stuff. So when I wanted to listen to Hawks games, I had to turn on an AM radio and pick up, thankfully 720 WGN is picked up in Milwaukee where I was living. So I would listen to Hawks games on a radio in my studio apartment, listening to the games and following along on like the ESPN app and stuff like that, for like the box score. And yeah, that was a lot different than living at my parents' house where they had all the channels you could watch all the games. But yeah, those are some fun memories. Even in the modern age of technology, I was just like, oh, I turn on the radio and listen to the game, and it was good times.
Yeah. 2 more memories from our audience. Bijan says his moment was the 92 Cup Finals when he was a kid. My dad was given tickets to one of the games, and my brother didn't take me. That sucks. And Mr. Duds says those mid-'80s Hawks always got stoned by 99 Gretzky and could not get past them to the finals. Yeah, join the club there. But there were so many teams that were good that the Oilers were just too good for. And look, like you could say the same thing about the aughts, that the Hawks just kept a lot of really good teams from winning cups. Like you think about those San Jose Sharks, under normal circumstances, probably would have gotten at least 1 cup, right? Those Canucks teams were cup worthy by most measures, but they just could not get past the Blackhawks most years.
Yep. Well, you could take that argument. You could think of all the great hockey players that never won a Stanley Cup because of Wayne Gretzky. You can put that and apply that to 1990s NBA. How many Hall of Famers never won an NBA title because they couldn't beat Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
Charles Barkley.
That's right.
Yeah. Patrick Ewing, all those guys, like a ton of guys couldn't do it. I mean, Karl Malone finally got one when he rode Shaq's coattails.
I was gonna say, he was on the Lakers team.
But there's so many great teams and great players. Just when you're playing in the era where there's a dynasty, it's tough. It's like you can't beat them, join them.
Yep. Today, by the way, everybody, is Sunnyside Summer Friday, and we love our friends at Sunnyside. They are your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your summer. It's your one-stop shop for all your cannabis needs, no matter where you are in your cannabis journey. Easy online ordering and in-store pickup, and they've got a great, transparent loyalty program called Sunnyside Rewards. It's Illinois' favorite dispensary from city to suburbs, Wrigleyville to River North, Champaign to South Beloit. And I thought South Beloit was just a random city they threw in there. Nope, there's a Sunnyside in South Beloit. So there you go. And as it is a Sunnyside Summer Friday, we got to talk about which Chicago athlete made us feel good this week. Can I say Cody Bellinger? Can I do that? Well,
yes,
he's still that dude's just raking. And guess what, Cubs? You're rich. Keep good players. You make
They're
me
not rebuilding, though. They're not rebuilding. They're just going to sell at every trade deadline.
They should never rebuild. They're the Cubs. They should operate like the Yankees or the Red Sox and not rebuild. Reload. There's no salary cap. Knock it off. Anyway, I'm going to go get one of these edibles when this show is over, because they are the best tasting gummy and chocolate edibles, and are created by James Beard award-winning chef Mindy Siegel and Cresco Labs. Speaking of Cresco, they've got that reliably excellent cannabis, consistent quality, experience, and availability of flower, vapes, concentrates, and pre-rolls, and my other favorite brand, the Good News Gummies, rechargeable vape pens and cartridges, perfect for great moments with the crew. Pick up that Frye pen or those Counting Sheep gummies. They will help you fall asleep right away. Now through August, head to sunnyside.shop and use code CHGO25 at checkout for 25% off your total order. One use per customer and not stackable with other promotions. And that's not only for new customers. Anyone can use that code. Pick up everything you need to elevate your summer. Must be 21 plus or an Illinois Med card holder. Again, sunnyside.shop, promo code CHGO25 to save 25% off your total order.
And after you visit your local Sunnyside, you're probably going to need some snacks. So visit your local Circle K. We are excited to partner with our friends at Circle K. You can check out your local Circle K locations for the best coffee, beer, and snack selection around, plus their premium gas selection as well. Look out for freebies and giveaways down the road. I know when we were on our road trip down to Nashville, we definitely made the most of some of our stops along the way to fuel up and snack up as well. Round the horn, real quick. Favorite gas station snack? We'll start with Jay.
Ooh, am I road tripping or just stopping normally?
You stop off to fill up your tank, and you go down the snack aisle on your way to the register, and you grab what?
Okay, I'm going Nerds Gummy Clusters.
Ooh,
Oh, those are so good.
sound good. Greg, what's yours?
If I'm looking for something salty, I'm getting a bag of combos. And if I'm looking for sweet candy, I'm getting some Twizzlers.
Twizzlers.
Combos.
All right.
Can you do the pizza combos?
Pizza combos are good. I like the cracker and cheese ones. Those are good.
Which pizza ones? The pizzeria ones or the pepperoni ones? Because one's a pretzel, one's a cracker.
Pizzeria.
The one that's the pretzel is better.
That's the pizzeria one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's good. If I'm going candy, I'm going with Reese's Cups. Pretty classic. There's also no cookie in it, so good for me. And then I'm also going with corn nuts, as Dr. Horror Show puts in there. Corn nuts is my go-to, and I a new flavor that I'm sure you can find at your local Circle K's, the chili picante. Very good, very good. They're great. They're great.
If you like crunchy food, you'll love them.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a good crunch. There's our thumbs up from the gas station
For
all of the great snacks and things you can pick up at your local Circle K. So again, thanks to Circle K for sponsoring CHGO. Visit your nearest Circle K to pick up all of your favorites and get yourself fueled up and ready to go.
All right, let's do that. Some news we got to get to. This is coming out now. It looks like the public celebration of life for Rocky Wirtz will be at the United Center the week of August 7th. That's from Ben Pope. Charlie Romeliotis follows up and says, the Hawks are expected to announce on Monday the dates and plans for a public celebration of life for Rocky at the UC, preceded by private family services. It's looking like the events will be the week of August 7th. So if you wanted to go pay your respects, maybe just keep an eye on things Monday when they'll become more official. Interested to see how they're going to handle all that. But hopefully there's an opportunity for the public to come out and pay their respects.
Seems like there will be.
Yeah. Also, we talked about this on Wednesday. Logan Cooley, who was expected initially to go back to college to play hockey, was rumored to be signing with the Arizona Coyotes. He has done it. He is going to play for the Coyotes this year. So, as our friend Cam Robinson said, a little bit of competition for Connor Bedard in the Calder Trophy. I almost call it the Connor Trophy. Might as well be.
Call it the Bedard Memorial Trophy once he retires.
He's not dead.
Once he retires.
Okay. Well, you got to be dead to have a memorial trophy.
True. Yeah.
The Bedard honorary.
The Bedard Award.
The Bedard Award. The Bedard Award Bedard. I didn't stop at Sunnyside before today's show.
About that?
Yeah, I think it's great for the Coyotes. He's going to be a guy that we mentioned it on Wednesday. He's going to be a guy that's going to jump right into their lineup, make an immediate impact, and it's going to be something exciting for them to watch down there at PHNX. And yeah, I mean the rookie class that Bedard is going to be the headliner of is pretty deep. You got We went down the list the other day. You got Bedard, you got Cooley, Luke Hughes is in there. Matthias Maselli, another guy with the Coyote, or no, is he a rookie still? I don't remember.
I don't think so. No.
But yeah, I mean, it's just it's an impressive list. So it's going to be fun to see how the rookie class shapes up and how Bedard stacks up with it. I still think, even with the stacked class that there is, if our kind of guesstimation of 70-75 points comes to fruition, that probably still gets it done for him. I mean, we'll see what ends up happening, but I think that's going to be great for Bedard, for the competition amongst rookies. Maybe something that is a personal goal of his is to lead all rookies in scoring, which he has the capability of doing. It's another guy that maybe is on his list to be like, okay, I got to keep up with Logan Cooley's doing and measure myself up against another up and coming young player. And as people are pointing out in our chat too, with Cooley gone from Minnesota, that leaves a spot down the middle for them that's open, that Oliver Moore might be able to step into a big top 6 role with the Minnesota program next year, which is even better for the Blackhawks. So yeah, I mean, Logan Cooley's decision impacting the Blackhawks in multiple ways.
Well, that's the reason why he left. He was going to go back, and then he was like, you know what? I don't want Oliver Moore to take my job, so I'm just going to give it to him. I'm going to leave. I can't hang with him. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
That'd be embarrassing. So he just bailed.
Yeah,
I get it.
He's afraid.
I'll go play in an arena where there's less people watching me than there is in Minnesota. I'll go for games and nobody will know.
The other news is the Ottawa Predators signed Vladimir Tarasenko for reasons. I mean, look, he's making them better, but what's Ottawa doing? I can't really figure it out.
Eastern Conference Predators, baby.
1 year, $5 million sounds pretty flippable for Vladimir Tarasenko.
Yeah, I don't. Are they trying to win though? Are they trying to? I don't know.
I don't know who's stopping the puck.
The last couple of years, like they're up and coming. Then the DeBrincat trade was going to be the thing. Like, he's really going to put him over the top. That didn't happen.
And they got Claude Giroux too.
Yeah,
who still scored 35 goals last year, which is insane.
Yeah,
maybe get a goalie. Maybe sign a goalie and not Vladimir Tarasenko. Maybe had they kept Philip Gustafsson instead of trading him for Cam Talbot, they make the playoffs.
Can we interest you in a gently used Peter Mrazek? He'll bring Peter Cech with him to practice. That's
sure. It's two goalies for the price of one.
And endless content.
2 goalies.
Yeah,
wow.
It's interesting. I mean, yeah, it's the forwards group and the young players that they have are great. But it's a competitive Eastern Conference, and if you don't have either top end defenseman depth or a reliable goaltender, your offense is only going to go so far. We saw it happen last year. I don't know how much better they are than last year with the offseason that they've had. So it really just feels like another we might flirt with a wild card spot, but we'll probably be selling at the deadline.
And they last year too. They traded for Jacob Chikrin last year too. So it's kind of like, which way you going here?
I don't think they know because they got a new owner coming in. I think it's Pierre Dorian.
I forgot about that. Corpusalo they have in goal, but
okay.
I don't know if he's
okay.
Okay, that's a guy.
Yeah.
But I don't think they know what they're doing because they're in flux. They have a new ownership coming in, and I think Pierre Dorian's just like, I'm going to try and do what I can to make sure I have a job when the new guys get here, or at least can get a job somewhere else. So let's go out and try and get a big name. And as Dr. Horror Show points out in the comments, Tarasenko, it was reported he was going to sign with the Hurricanes. That was all over the place, that Tarasenko was going to Carolina. Then he fires his agent. Now he's in Ottawa. Maybe get another agent, because how do you go from Carolina, Cup contender, to Ottawa? That's who you fired your agent to go? That's a downgrade, pal.
I mean,
his agent, I want to play for that red, white, and black team. Great, Ottawa. No, that's not what I meant.
Not that one. Yeah, I wonder if that move was maybe like his agent was only getting so much money from Carolina, and Tarasenko was like, well, I want to be paid a little bit better, and Carolina wasn't going to do it, so they ended up going where the money ended up being. And I mean, if that's the case, like you make a little bit more money and you play in Ottawa, who still has this kind of outside chance at being a playoff team. I mean, maybe it's trying to find the balance between the two things, but yeah, that was quite the interesting move at the time.
So I'm looking at their cap friendly page, and maybe they're not as bad as I thought. You got Tim Stützle, Brady Tkachuk, Claude Giroux, Tarasenko, Drake Batherson's a nice player, Matthew Joseph, Kubalik, who they got in the DeBrincat trade, Shane Pinto, if that they got to get a contract, but he's 22 and is expected to be there. Shabbat Chikrin, Brandstrom, they got Hamonic, Jake Sanderson, who's 21, is going to play. Corpusalo. That I mean, look, like
On
we're
paper, they should be decent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
we said that last year.
Right. For our Around the League show on Wednesday next week, we're going to do like, okay, who are these teams that are falling out of the playoff race so new teams can enter? We'll do the East and West on next Wednesday, so we'll get into that then. But like you're saying, the East is pretty loaded. There's just not a lot of playoff spots there, and there's a couple teams you could look at and say they got better this offseason. And I think you'd say the same about Ottawa, but are they good enough? I don't know. That's a
I don't know how much better though than they are than last year. I know they have some upgrades, but I don't think it's enough to get them, into real thoughts of playoff contention.
Tarasenko and Alex DeBrincat are kind of the same guy. I don't think the numbers.
I'd rather have DeBrincat.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean for long term, sure, but like. Are the numbers that Tarasenko is going to give you going to be that much better than what DeBrincat gave you? No, it's probably going to be about the same. 27, 28 goals, 50 something points. Maybe he gets 30. Maybe the combination of Kubalik and Tarasenko together gives you more than what DeBrincat gave you last year. Maybe not. I don't know. Like, they definitely have a team that's got some really good young players on it. But like, I just... Do they have a good enough coach? Do they have good enough goaltending? And it's the Eastern Conference. The Eastern Conference is
tough.
It's a slog, man. And I think they'll be hanging around. I think they'll be in contention for a playoff spot throughout most of the year for one of those wild card spots. But just like last year, I just think by the end of the year, they're just not going to have enough to hang. But we'll see.
As we look ahead to, we talked about this the other day, like as the Hawks, start to ascend, who's going to be the teams that are with them. And you look at what Ottawa has in the young players we already mentioned. Also, they've got 3 first-round picks over the next 2 years. Next year, they have 2 firsts, a second, 3 fourths, a fifth, and a sixth. So they've got a lot of draft capital built up too. So, and who knows, like that second first-round pick is Detroit. So that's going to be probably a decent middle of the round pick. Something between 15 and 20, probably. So I don't know.
Well,
the Tarasenko thing. I guess if you're looking from the outside at like what the Hawks are doing, bringing in Corey Perry and Nick Foligno, people are like, why are they doing that? Why are they bringing these old guys in? Maybe we're just not close enough to Ottawa to get what they're doing. But
the messaging from Ottawa has been that they're trying to compete. The messaging from Chicago is not that they're trying to compete. So I think that's where the confusion comes in, because it's like, well, you're trying to compete, but you're getting rid of some of these good players, and then you're bringing in players that might be replacement level players to the guy you just got rid of. Like, I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting way to go. I look at their division as the Senators logo has been predatorized.
You got a big buck tooth.
That's great. Give them a big saber tooth.
I'll work on that. That's a good idea.
I just look at their division. Are they better than Boston? Nope. Are they better than Toronto? Nope. Are they better than Tampa? Nope. Are they better than Florida? No. Are they better than Buffalo? I don't think so. Are they better than Detroit? It's maybe not.
And Detroit and Ottawa are like the same team.
And then you got Montreal. So I don't know. That's a tough division to come out of. Even if you're top 5 in your division, that doesn't guarantee that you're a wild card. Like, I don't know. We'll see.
But you mentioned all those extra draft picks they have coming up. that could help them continue to get young players, but that also can help them trade deadline if they're right there and they're just a guy away. They have the capital to go out and get whoever the big trade deadline target is this year. So we'll see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting for sure. Who's doing FOCO? Is it me?
No, I think it's me. I had to switch my bookmark here. I'm so used to telling you about sunglasses that I automatically went to that read. But they may have some sunglasses at FOCO. I bet you they do. I bet you they have some awesome licensed sunglasses to go with all your best sports gear, sports merchandise, or as we call Spurch. Head over to FOCO. They have everything you need. Hoodies. You don't need hoodies right now. You're not going to need those for a few months, but jump on them early.
Yeah, need the opposite of a hoodie right now.
Yes. The invisible hoodie. You can get one of those ahead. Hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, everything in between. It's baseball season. It's hot as hell outside. Aloha shirts, straw hats, polos, bags, banana hammocks, everything you need for a game or just to hang out. Normally when we're in our lovely studio, over there at the CHGO headquarters, you'll see our set decorated with all kinds of awesome bobbleheads and signage and cool sports memorabilia. FOCO has donated to us. So if you want to decorate your home office, your garage, your man cave, your she shed, wherever you watch your games, got a hockey fan that loves bobbleheads with a birthday coming up, go over to FOCO, show them some love, get everything you need there for your sports apparel and merchandise needs. Check out FOCO, FOCO.com, or you can click on the link in the podcast description below. And for all non-presale items, use the promo code CHGO, and they're going to give you 10% off your purchase. That's fun.
Nice.
Yeah. So they do, by the way, can confirm, they do have Bears sunglasses. They look like, what do they call kids call them? The pit vipers that all the young baseball players wear.
Pit vipers. Sure. Let me look
Isn't
at this
Randy
link.
Orton?
Oh, yes. Very Randy Savage-esque. That's the style.
Yeah.
Yep, they're cool. Yeah. So there you go. Get your Bears pit vipers at foco.com.
There they are.
I can't wear those. That's like Brian Bosworth level sunglasses.
Those are like Brett the Hitman Hart glasses.
Yeah, Justin Fields, I'm sure, could rock those pretty well.
Yes, those are not for people like me. That's why I stick to the banana hammocks.
Yes.
Anyway, we're running out of time, folks. August 16th is our Cubs White Sox crosstown takeover at Wrigley Field. CHGO Sports is taking over for the 2023 crosstown series. Join the Cubs and White Sox crews again, August 16th. Sox at Cubs Wrigley Field, 7:05. Pre-game meetup at 5:30 at Bar TBD. Love that place. Great wings. Each ticket purchase comes with a new CHGO baseball shirt, south side or north side, based on preference. And your shirt and size will be chosen at checkout and order confirmation. It's going to be a great time. The Cubs are ascending. The Sox are selling. I saw they just traded Lance Lynn and Joe Kelly to the Dodgers. That just happened. Happening. So
wow.
Selling off while the Cubs are heating up.
Hopefully they didn't get the Lance Lynn and Joe Kelly that combined for that disastrous inning at our first takeover earlier this week.
I would not define it as disastrous. I kind of enjoyed it.
Oh, I liked it. Yes.
Yep.
And am I the only one that thinks Joe Kelly looks like a guy that's not allowed within 150 yards of a school?
Yes. I also think Joe Kelly acts too cool for how bad he is.
Yeah.
Be cool sunglasses, mullet guy. Don't you have to be decent?
Usually, yeah.
Doesn't really translate. It's going back to Brian Bosworth. He was the coolest guy in football until Bo Jackson ran his ass over, and that was it.
That was the end
until the ball. He was a badass until the ball got kicked off.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, join us at the tailgate or the crosstown takeover. Rather, it's going to be a great time at Wrigley. AllCHGO.com to get your tickets. Navigate over to that events tab and scroll down. You'll see the CHGO Crosstown Series takeovers. Again, the one at Guaranteed Rate was great. The one at Wrigley is going to be awesome too. Join us August 16th. Cubs at White Sox at Wrigley Field. And of course, if you're a diehard, you are going to save. And I mentioned chicken wings a minute ago. Mario alerted us today that tomorrow is National Chicken Wing Day.
Mm-hmm.
So, fellas, where is your go-to? Let's do this. Let's go to your go-to chain and your go-to, independently owned wing place.
Your spot.
And then what's your go-to sauce?
All right. Well, my go-to chain is Wingstop. Just because when I was in high school, it was Buffalo Wild Wings, because when I was in high school, the town I was living in, Kenosha, they had recently got one. That was a big deal. That was back in my day, when Wing Tuesdays were 25-cent wings and Boneless Thursdays were 30-cent boneless. Now those deals are, I think it's
$30 boneless.
I think it's like $1 on Tuesdays is the deal now, or something like that. Ridiculous. But anyways, the quality of wing from Buffalo Wild Wings has declined greatly, while Wingstop has always been steadily really, really good. So Wingstop is the chain that I go to. The hot honey that they have there, unfortunately it's a limited time, like only here and there sauce, but I love it. It's so good. It has the right kind of kick. It's really sweet. I really like that. But off of their regular sauce menu, I really like their Louisiana rub. Again, it's just enough kick. It's got a good flavor. Big fan of that one.
My chain is Wingstop too. I never place an order without the lemon pepper. The lemon pepper is so good. And I never, people for years, you got to try lemon pepper. I'm like, why do I want lemon? No, that didn't appeal to me at all. Oh my God. I'm so glad I tried it. The lemon pepper at Wingstop is great. So that's my go-to. But you're right. That hot honey limited time is fantastic.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. As far as chains go, Wingstop is my favorite. Buffalo Wild Wings is trash. I'm sorry. I've been there 3 or 4 times, and nothing tastes fresh there.
It's everything experience every time you go.
Yeah, sometimes you get a ton of sauce on your wings. Other times you barely get any, or the fries feel like they've been sitting under a hot lamp for 3 hours before they came out, or everything's cooked in the same oil. Nothing tastes fresh. Wingstop, the biggest reason I'm a fan of Wingstop, the 2 biggest reasons, their fries are awesome. And they have the best blue cheese dipping sauce. Their blue cheese is amazing. I could just drink it. It's so good. So yeah, that's I'm
blue cheese. Oh yeah.
And I'm traditional. I love buffalo. I always just get the hot buffalo from that's my go-to sauce. I know there's a million other choices. I know I should live a little. I just love the combination of buffalo and blue cheese. That's what I like. That's what I get. I'm a classic wing guy. I've tried others, but I just buffalo and with the blue cheese is my favorite. As far as chains go, Lou Malnati's Pizza actually has really good wings.
They do.
They do.
I've had them when I worked there.
They have barbecue and a buffalo. And again, the dipping, they don't have blue cheese, but they have a gorgonzola cheese dipping sauce, which is very similar and very good too. So the Lou Malnati's wings, I give those a recommendation. If you're getting some overpriced pizza, you might as well get yourself some tasty wings.
All right. How about
they are pretty good.
How about your local joint? What's your go-to place when trying to keep it close to home or whatever?
When I was living in the city, there's a place in North Center that is called Wild Goose. I haven't been there in a long time, but their wings, they used to have a promotion on Mondays where it was 25 cents with the purchase of a beverage. So Mondays was the place to go out for lunch for me. They have a chili lime sauce that is just so good. I would say, can I get a cup of the sauce? And I dip the fries in it too. It's just very, very good.
Lincoln,
so
right?
Was that?
Is that on Lincoln?
Yeah. Lincoln Ave in North Center. Yeah. It's a really, really good spot. Up by me though now, a new place opened up in Antioch recently called The Rivalry. It's a crossover German Irish bar, and their wings are very good. They're like fried. It's like fried chicken. They're big. They're hearty. It's basically like having fried chicken, and the sauce comes on the side. So what I've had to do, because they're so big, is I'll pull the meat off with a fork, which it comes off nice and easy, and then dip it in. It's really good. So if you're ever on the border of Illinois and Wisconsin, near Antioch, looking for wings, head up to the rivalry.
All right, I've got two. In Homewood, there is a awesome bar and grill called Lassen's that just has killer. They're just very traditional, but they're huge. They're super meaty. Tons of different sauces, but like just their standard buffalo sauce with curly fries.
Oh,
absolutely killer. And then when we went to Milwaukee for the Hawks game, a bunch of people told me to try Points East Pub.
Yep.
And I did, and holy cow, they were like a dry rubbed wing, but they were excellent. They were absolutely fantastic. So Lassen's and Homewood, that's kind of our go-to. And then Points East Pub in Milwaukee, anytime I'm up that way, I'm getting it. So it's really, that's good stuff.
All right, I'm jumping in. Bird's Nest in Lincoln Park, no one's mentioned.
I've not been there.
Haven't tried them.
I'm rarely ever in Lincoln Park if it's not for the zoo.
And then no one mentioned my spot in Evanston, Buffalo Joe's.
Because I haven't gone yet.
Yeah, you gotta let Greg go.
Maybe let the host go first, Lawrence. We might have got that Buff Joe's mention.
Oh my God, I love Buff Joe's. With the
Boysen was not impressed.
Oh well, I mean, for me, it's all about the fact that they use Merck's cheddar on their cheddar chips, aka fries.
Waffle fries.
And then they have RC and the size is called Gut Buster, which is just a ridiculous name for a size of a drink. But perfect. And they are small, Jay. But their hot sauce is just phenomenal, and I don't know, they're just crispy and wonderful.
I'm just pointing out that the first two things you said you liked about it had nothing to do with wings.
Oh well, yeah. Sorry, I was giving the whole picture of the thing. But speaking of whole,
it sounds delightful. I will try that.
Speaking of whole pictures, here's version 2 of the Western Conference Predators.
Yes.
Vampire Senator.
That's actually cool. I like that logo.
Yeah, well, it works pretty good.
So better than the Predators' current logo.
Isn't Vampire Senator Mitch McConnell?
Oh wow. Okay, I'm gonna leave.
Not yet. Soon. No, since I moved to Wilmette, Buffalo Joe's is like the closest place like that, and I'm a big fan of theirs. I think it's more because the first time I ever had like real buffalo chicken wings was from there.
Yeah.
When I was working with a buddy coaching grade school football in Winnetka a lifetime ago, we would stop there sometimes. Like, you got to try this. And the biggest reason I like Buffalo Joe's is because, as Lawrence mentioned, their buffalo sauce is really good. But when you get in an order of wings, they put it on top of a bed of waffle fries. So when you're done with the wings, you have the waffle fries that are now coated in the buffalo sauce, and it's good stuff. But the best wing I ever had is coming from a surprising place. It's not a wing place. It's when I used to live in Edison Park. The Curragh Irish Pub right there on Northwest Highway has some of the best chicken wings I ever had. You get like 9 real big chicken wings with your order, great buffalo sauce, and they sprinkle like toasted sesame seeds on top of it. It's just a nice little added feature to it. So it's like all those like bars and restaurants in that Edison Park neighborhood, the Curragh has the best wings. It's not even close.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's I've been there once before. It was very good.
Yeah, very good food. That very good menu there, but the chicken wings was my go-to when we would walk over for lunch.
Well, looks like we're getting wings tonight for dinner because I am celebrating.
Yeah, I'm craving. I'm craving
Lassen's night.
It's a Lassen's night. Yep, I'm going there Monday already, so might as well just bookend the weekend.
Yeah.
Wings from Lassen's.
I think I'll save. We got dinner plans already tonight, but I'll save chicken wings for actual chicken wing national day. I'll celebrate in style tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sure your local place will, wherever your local favorite local place is, will appreciate the order on National Chicken Wing Day.
Exactly.
Maybe there's some good specials out there.
Yeah.
Let's hope so. All right, we'll talk to everybody on Monday. Guess what? Mailbag Monday. That's right. We're going to be back Monday, answering all your mailbag questions. And if the trend continues, we'll probably be doing Mailbag Tuesday too, because you guys have had great questions.
Let's shoot to stretch it all the way into Wednesday, right? Our entire week for us.
Yeah.
Great.
Throw us questions that aren't about hockey too. Those are always fun.
Yeah, I like those better.
Yeah, exactly. So hit us up on Twitter at CHGO_Blackhawks. We're on Threads at the same name. You can email us blackhawks@allchgo.com as well. And of course, if you're a diehard, as you should be, you can hit us up on the members only Discord page, and we'll get to all of your questions next week, starting on Monday on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. We want to thank Lawrence for running the show. Welcome back from your vacation, my friend. Your bucket hat with the Vienna beef hot dog and the Cubs logo is waiting for you in your office. So I made sure to grab that for you when I was at the Cubs game the other day.
Exciting.
Have a great weekend. We'll talk to everybody Monday on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.